Folks, this woke stuff is like a religion. It really is. It's got rules, customs, there's fanatics involved with it. And boy, oh boy, it's here to stay, it seems. Now, I think we're going to win. Why is this taking off the way it is, huh? I have a theory. One of the reasons is that so many people have turned away from God, the true God. They think they can do this all on their own. Society, culture, they stigmatize God and Jesus. They've tried at least. So many people have bought that nonsense, and they're not looking to God, they're looking to each other. They're looking to these new ways, these new rules, these new customs to somehow be validated. They don't need any of this stuff. Oh boy, if they only knew the peace and joy and everything they want is available from God, but they're going about it the wrong way, in my opinion. But these rules and strictures that they have, they reveal that they actually want some sort of structure. You know, you do better sometimes at work than you do at home when it comes to productivity. There's more structure at work. Do you know what I mean? All right. I hope that makes a little bit of sense because I feel like we're in a very bizarre moment, all right? Lots of people are going along with this, and a lot of people are afraid to stand up and push back. Now, we had a giant, and we have a giant who's not afraid to stand up and push back. It's pretty amazing, the one and only Donald Trump. Now, I go back to a speech he made July 4th of 2020. Listen to this.
There is a new far-left fascism that demands absolute allegiance. If you do not speak its language, perform its rituals, recite its mantras, and follow its commandments, then you will be censored, banished, blacklisted, persecuted, and punished. It's not going to happen to us.
He's right, huh? Isn't that interesting? That's this whole new system. Now, it's on my mind because, well, I was speaking with a doctor friend of mine, and you know when you go to the doctor, they don't ask you what your religion is anymore. Now, why did they ever ask you what your religion was? Maybe they shouldn't have been doing that. Well, actually, what if you die on the operating room table? I mean, what if there are contingencies where that information would be useful? They don't ask about that anymore. They do ask questions like this. What gender were you when you were born? What is your gender now? Your preferred pronouns. And about 50 other nonsensical questions. And that takes the doctor away from what the doctor should really be doing. My doctor likes to chit-chat with me. So much so I'm like, okay, you're going to get to the examination? He would say, hey, this is part of the examination. I can actually evaluate you just by talking to you. Now, they're just afraid of saying the wrong thing, like everybody else, it seems. Let me know if this makes sense to you. I think we're onto something. Joe Biden, I don't know if it makes sense to him. It doesn't make sense that a guy like him just made this week Black Maternal Health Week. Yes, it is Black Maternal Health Week. And, oh, by the way, we all have a mission to talk about this, according to Joe Biden. If we can put it up on the screen, please. Oh, actually, I have it right here. He calls upon all Americans to raise awareness of the state of Black maternal health in the United States by understanding the consequences of systemic discrimination, recognizing the scope of this problem and the need for urgent solutions. And they're really pushing this on hospitals, on doctors and nurses. What urgent solutions can they come up with? Are doctors and nurses right now treating Black mothers, or Black birthing persons unfairly? Are they discriminating against them? Joe Biden actually thinks, and this whole current movement says, that implicit bias may be at work. I'm not going to take any lessons on race or anything from this man, but especially on race. Remember this?
But I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't Black.
But here we are. This is the guy who made it now, again, Black Maternal Health Awareness Week. And it's up to all Americans to talk about it. Well, let's go through what it is. This is, let's see, the Black Mamas Matters Alliance, building liberation, centering Black mamas, Black families, and Black systems of care. It reflects the BMA's work in centering Black women's scholarship, maternity care work, and advocacy across the full spectrum of sexual, maternal, and reproductive health care services, programs, and initiatives. Okay, I can deal with that. How about the next one, if you don't mind? Additionally, this theme reflects the critical need for learning about Black feminist and womanist approaches in strengthening wellness structures within our communities across the diaspora, Revolutionary Act, blah, 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 blah. Hey, I want to end maternal mortality, but everything else is gibberish. But it doesn't matter. It's fashionable right now. And look at the sponsors who are signing on for some of this stuff. I mean, these are heavyweights, okay? Dove soap, Pampers, the diaper people. This nonsense is just what's there, and you're supposed to go along with it, not ask any questions. I could raise questions about Black mortality in hospitals. I don't think it has anything to do with discrimination. You can't put this on the nurses. You can't put this on the doctors. It's a far more uncomfortable conversation than Pampers or Dove seems to want to have. I'm ready to have it. Are you? Now, in the meantime, this administration, they can't have it. They won't have it. And if you start talking about it, you're in for a hard time. You know, Ketanji Brown Jackson was semi-sworn in the other day. She's not on the bench, but she's made it, and it doesn't get there until next year. Anyway, they had a victory lap. When she first got the appointment, I thought she's a nice person. I'm not so sure anymore.
It has taken 232 years and 115 prior appointments for a Black woman to be selected to serve on the Supreme Court of the United States. But we've made it.
So when I said nice person, I meant that nice person. I didn't think she was right for the court. I think she's too liberal. Quite frankly, the situation with the sentencing and the pedophiles, that was troubling, and she should have been able to define a woman. Now, the not so nice part, why she might not be a nice person, because I took that statement to mean that somehow there was active discrimination taking place against people like her because of the way she looked. That white men were specifically discriminating against Black women because of their Black skin and their gender. I don't believe that. Now, during major parts of our history, women couldn't vote, women couldn't do a lot of things, and we had a horrible phase with slavery like so many other countries in the world. But for a long chunk of time, there were not enough eligible Black women to be considered for the Supreme Court. You can look it up. The numbers have been very, very small. The way she portrays it, it was active discrimination based on race and gender. I don't think that's the case. Harvard had their very first graduate in 1956 from the law school, a Black woman. Yale, 1931. You know, all these justices seem to come from the same school. They just did not have a significant pool of people to choose from. Is that fair? I think it is. Let me know. In the meantime, did you notice how Kamala was clapping? This was something to see. This was somebody who was not particularly thrilled. There's something resentful about that clapping. All right. Now, I am, quite frankly, over this gender stuff, the race stuff. I admit, I'm not that great at talking about it. I've been thinking about other matters for most of my life, and I like to think about other things, like going to the moon, like going to Mars, like, how did the president put it?
We are Americans, and Americans kneel to God and God alone. My fellow citizens, this incredible journey we are on together has only just begun, and it is time to start talking about greatness for our country again. Greatness. We don't talk about greatness anymore. You never hear the word greatness.
It's true. It made me think of something. I watched the rally over the weekend. It made me think, and it feels just like it, very similar to the summer of 2015 when Donald Trump declared for the presidency. Remember, he came down the escalator and he said something very dissimilar to what he said this weekend.
Our country is in serious trouble. We don't have victories anymore. We used to have victories, but we don't have them. When was the last time anybody saw us beating, let's say, China in a trade deal? They kill us.
Just made me think of the same thing. Greatness, not winning. And I was in the room, as some of you may remember. There I am, June 16th, 2015. I just, quite frankly, it was a kind of a coincidence, kind of a fluke that I was there, but I was there. And when he said those words back then, I said this, and I feel the same way now, quite frankly.
I think he might be a game changer in this race. Listen to that speech. It's going to go over well in certain precincts in Iowa, New Hampshire. This is a big deal. This is not a joke.
All right. I'm pretty proud of that. I was pretty insightful. You don't have to be that insightful right now to know that this is Trump's moment. He could take it all again, and he should. We deserve it. It's going to be tough, but it's worth it. Don't you think?